Is the DNC currently rigging the debate against Bernie Sanders? Let's talk about it. Thank you all so much for tuning into this segment of Mikase Sukas. And of course, as always, I am your humble host, Niko House. So, we are all aware at this point that the DNC has tried to rig every single debate against Tulsi Gabbard in some way, form, or fashion, and they haven't really been all too kind to Bernie Sanders as well. Now, this would not be outside of the norm for the Democratic Party because this is exactly why Tulsi Gabbard left to endorse Bernie Sanders in 2016. She left her job as a vice chairwoman of the DNC in order to endorse Bernie Sanders, and her primary reason was because they were cheating. Okay? At that point, I don't know if you all recall, but there was a big back and forth, big hullabaloo about whether or not Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton should have more debates. I believe at the time it was only maybe 6 debates scheduled. So clearly that was not enough to determine who was going to lead the country, be the Democratic Party nominee. It also wasn't enough to determine whether or not, Hillary Clinton was winning because of who she was, right? Because of name recognition, or because she actually was winning the vote. It seemed like Hillary and the Democratic establishment they were dedicated to suppressing the vote, right? I know a lot of people may think this, if you're paying attention now, you might think it's quite the contrary. But I assure you it's not. I know 2018 has people convinced that they want to turn out the vote. No, that's only for a midterm, and that's only against Republicans. If there's an outsider like a Tulsi Gabbard, like a Bernie Sanders, even an Andrew Yang, Marianne Williamson, they don't like voters turning out to vote for them. So I'm quite aware that Bernie Sanders has not spoken up for Tulsi Gabbard, especially considering the DNC just made it mathematically impossible for her to even have an opportunity to participate in the next debate. And they only did so after she got the requirement, after not changing the debate requirements for after Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina. They only made the announcement minutes after she met the requirements for the debate stage. So I'm aware. Now, here's reality. I am still an activist first. And democracy, unfortunately, for me, and my petty side, I know I do got a petty streak, but when it comes to democracy, I don't play games when it comes to that. And so we're going to have some humble pie from Integrity Farms and call a spade a spade. And that spade is the DNC is trying to rig it against Bernie Sanders, too. This is something that's actually gone, for the most part, undiscussed. It was kind of weird because you see a lot of Bernie supporters kind of defending, I won't say a lot, a good amount. But in all seriousness, most Bernie supporters have been pretty spot on asking Bernie to speak up for Tulsi. So shout out to those people. But nonetheless, a lot of people have kind of been too busy defending Bernie for not speaking up that they haven't even realized at this point that the DNC also announced that it was about to basically try to rig it against Bernie too in multiple ways. First of all, let's look at this tweet. So Chittle Hinojosa said that we have 2 more debates. Of course, the threshold will go up. By the time we have the March debate, almost 2,000 delegates will be allocated. The threshold will reflect where we are in the race, as it always has. That's a lie. And of course, my response was, that's literally never happened. Candidates who have qualified after the first ballot has been cast have always stayed on the debate stage until they drop out. Stop manufacturing consent with lies. I did make a mistake, though. There is one other time that this has happened. Of course, it was with Dennis Kucinich. They changed the rules right as he was qualified for the debate stage and made it so that he could not get on. I know, surprise, surprise. Anti-war candidates are not really well liked by the Democratic establishment. Now, if you're a Bernie supporter, here is the operative part of the sentence that you should be paying attention to. We have 2 more debates. 2 more. That's what she said. This is the DNC communications director. Don't you find it a little bit weird that they only have 2 more debates, ladies and gentlemen? Last I checked, the convention isn't until July. The convention isn't until July, mid-July at that. It's March to April, April to May, May to June, June to July. We have 4 more months, people. New York isn't even until the end of April. It's 300 delegates up for grabs there. Why the hell are there only 2 more debates? There should honestly, if we're being real, there should be a debate every single week until the final delegate has been counted. There should be a debate every single week. Right or wrong? I'm pretty sure everybody would agree. Now, for those Tulsi supporters who are like, no, damn that, we shouldn't be speaking up for Bernie. Nah, it's not okay. You don't have to like Bernie. You can be very upset with him, and that would be understandable. But listen, y'all, we have to be better morally, consistently than our detractors. As a Tulsi Gabbard surrogate, I try to embody the values of Tulsi Gabbard. As a candidate and as a person and as a congresswoman, shouldn't speak up for democracy only when people speak up for her. It's not the only time she does it. She speaks up for democracy regardless. And that's who we have to be, right? Even when it's inconvenient for some people, like right now. Bernie is having the election rigged against him. It's specifically the debate format. I know, once again, twisted irony, but nonetheless, you have to keep it real. Now, there's another way that they are rigging this debate format against Bernie. This has been recently announced. Now, Politico reports that after a private call Friday with CNN, which is moderating the March 15th debate with the Democratic National Committee, Sanders' team balked at the new proposed format for the debate, saying it has given his opponent Biden too much of a break on the first one-on-one face-off. Biden's camp denied that it was pressing for a sit-down debate. The format for the next debate in Arizona, their first since Biden's quote-unquote blowout Super Tuesday victories, would have the candidates seated for the first time this election cycle and take multiple questions from the audience, which we know is going to be elitist and anti-Sanders, and not necessarily pro-Biden, but absolutely pro-establishment and anti-Sanders. And I mean, what did we learn from 2016? They plant questions, they give questions away in advance. The fact that CNN is still being allowed to do these debates as consistently as they have been, town halls even, after the fiasco in 2016 with Donna Brazile, is beyond me, but it's par for the course for the Democratic Party. But they can stack the crowds. In the past 10 debates, the article goes on to say, the candidates stood up at lecterns and nearly all the questions were asked by professional moderators. Why does Joe Biden not want to stand toe-to-toe with Senator Sanders on the debate stage on March 15th and have an opportunity to defend his record and articulate his vision for the future? Jeff Weaver said. And Jeff Weaver is, most of you all know, Bernie Sanders' senior advisor. And that's exactly what it is. He don't want to go toe-to-toe with Bernie, man. He don't want to go toe-to-toe that. Come on, bro. Come on. We know that. But it's scary because it looks like they're trying to protect his deficiencies. Deficiencies is a nice way of saying it. Possible dementia is a real way of saying it, right? We don't know. But once again, we do know that the DNC is trying to do whatever they can to swing the debates and the results of those debates in favor of Biden. And I won't even say in favor of Biden because they know that there's almost nothing they could do. Almost nothing they could do to swing these debates in favor of Joe Biden. There's almost zero. But what they can do is mitigate the damage done to Joe Biden by Bernie Sanders and his camp long enough so that Bernie loses momentum slowly they're already, think about it, they're holding the debates after the second quote unquote miniature Tuesday, right? They're holding the debates after the next iteration of delegates, about 390 something delegates up for grabs. How many people do you think would probably be deciding who they're voting for after that debate, if the debate was held before this coming up Tuesday on the 10th? Do you think that they probably scheduled this so that Biden could avoid any conversation about Michigan, about the trade deals? Do you think that this could potentially hurt, even if only a little bit, the momentum of Bernie Sanders going into the next major iteration of states, with Illinois coming up? I'm just saying. Clearly, the DNC is biased. It is up to us to call out election rigging. Debate rigging is one of the main ways they rig the election, because if you can't hear the truth, if you are not giving people, if you're not giving people the opportunity to hear all the candidates and their entire stance, if these candidates have managed to stay in the race, have managed to get the requisite donations to stay afloat in a very, very competitive Democratic primary field over the last year and a half, then you're doing an injustice to the people, and you are rigging the election by removing their autonomy. Their autonomy to vote based off of the correct information, the available information, rather than making it off of the information that the Democratic Party and the mainstream media chooses to relinquish to the public. So it's wrong for them to rig it against Tulsi Gabbard. It's absolutely wrong for them to rig it against Bernie Sanders. And that's not going to change. But what we do about it does matter. So make sure you call the DNC. I'm going to pull up the DNC's number right now. We're going to pull it up right now. I had it before, but contact us, Democrats. Hell no, but I think they slick. 202-863-8000. Ladies and gentlemen, that number once again is 202-863-8000. Make sure you call the DNC and let them know how you feel about them limiting the debate requirements. Limiting the amount of debates, despite the fact that the primary isn't until July. About how they're trying to change the format so that it kind of covers up for Biden. I know what Biden may be thinking. Well, I don't even need to stand up. I mean, I'm be on Air Force One a lot, and I'll be sitting in the Oval Office. I'll basically be sitting the whole job. No, Biden. We know what you're doing. But it's not going to work, bro. If you want to be president of the United States for the next 4 to 8 years, you need to prove you can handle it. And that means being up on your feet a lot. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning into that segment of Mika Says Sukasa. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. But always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell if you like that segment of Mika Says Sukasa. Of course, if YouTube is giving you trouble, as it always does, you can download the Rockfin app and follow us there. Also, if you want to continue to help our show grow, you can help us reach our goal of 500 patrons on Patreon and donate as little as $1. Really, anything helps. Other than that, always remember, people, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.